Miss Hardaway.
So my name is Jheri Hardaway. I am an educator at Capital Prep Harlem as well as Harlem Children's Zone. I value leadership tremendously because as a leader, I feel like sometimes it's lonely at the top, right? We know that, but frequently as a leader, you need support. And one thing that's made a big difference in the success of my classroom is student leadership. Because when I can count on the students for support, I can count on you to be finished with your expectations so you can pass out these papers. I can count on you to have your homework done so you're ready to have discussions in class. I can count on you to do the reading so you're ready to, utilize our standards based on that content to complete activities. The leadership is very important to me because I'm a leader and I need other people that are going to support the mission. It's very, very hard when you can't count on your leadership. When leadership is in a place where you can't coexist and work productively, the ship starts to sink. So at North Carolina A&T, leadership is baked into you from the time that you step on campus. There's a class that every freshman has to take called University Experience. And it's, 100 level class, 1 hour once a week, but it teaches you the history of the university. It's kind of like an extended scavenger hunt because they send you places, go find this building, go to the library, find this video and watch it, go do this, so it really teaches you about the university. So through that experience is when I had heard about the Greensboro 4 before, but through that experience at North Carolina A&T on the 1st of every February since 1960 when the 4 freshmen walked to the Woolworth's building downtown Greensboro, about 15-20 minute walk, and sat down at the lunch counter and requested to be served, and which was one of the major events in the beginning of the civil rights movement that brought about a lot of other activism. And at A&T on the 1st of February, they have a presentation at like 6 o'clock. They have breakfast at 6 o'clock in the morning. Then they have a presentation that starts at 7. And then at 8, they do a commemorative walk to Woolworths. So out of the 4, there are 2 that are still living. And one is Major General Joseph McNeil. He's originally from Wilmington, moved to Harlem in the 40s, 50s, I believe, with his parents that were from Wilmington looking for work, and heard Malcolm X speak on 125th. And so he told me, I was able to interview him, and he told me that was one of those experiences that lit a fire under him. And actually the sit-in wasn't his first protest. He was working at a Pepsi plant as well, and they were treating the black employees different from the white employees, and he was a part of some efforts to try and address that as well. So Major General Joseph McNeil would be there every single year, as well as Ezell Blair, who is now known as Dr. Jabril Kazan, among other names. He lives in Boston, in the same city as where Frederick Douglass went, and he, in the same area of Boston. And I was able to interview Dr. Kazan as well. And Dr. Kazan mentioned to me that the woman who was teaching him Sunday school, because all of them had to leave Greensboro after the movement because they couldn't find jobs. People were threatening them. Just in case anybody doesn't know how the story ends, after 3-4 months of people sitting in and it spread all across the South, Woolworths had to open up their lunch counter. Yeah. So Major General McNeil shared with me that he went back to Woolworths and he sat down and he ordered a coffee and a slice of pie. Yeah. And he said it wasn't very good, he didn't finish it and he left. So I was just like, it was so hysterical to me because, after this whole movement that he sparked, and then he was like, oh, I'm good. And that's just the kind of man he is. He's very just mild-mannered, very military, very neat, put together. And you can just see, because he was in ROTC then, when the movement was happening. So when you see the picture of the 4 of them, you see him in his uniform. So it's just an incredible experience. A&T really just introduced me to activism, introduced me to leadership, and put my mind in a state where I felt like I can't not say something when I see that something's wrong.
Why do you think student leadership and student activism is important, and maybe more important than regular adult-led activism?
Student activism, I believe, is important because if you teach somebody to advocate for themselves, if you teach them to stand up and say, hey, this is what I believe, this is why, right? A lot of times I've experienced students who are evolving into leaders, they just want to fight for something, just want to stand, they just want to be that rebel, but I'm like, you gotta find your cause. You know, we build these 3D paragraphs, you have a main idea, but your main idea has to have 3 details to support it. So you can't just say, we shouldn't have to wear a uniform because I don't like it. You have to say, hey, we shouldn't have to wear a uniform because I have to wash mine a lot because I only have 2 and it's wasting water and it's contributing to global warming and climate change. You know, if you can support your stance, then it makes your argument valid. But if you're just arguing, are you an activist? Are you a leader? Or are you rebel rouser? You know? So I'm trying to encourage the students to look at activism and look at leadership through a lens of productive and positive change instead of just being hot-headed.